You are in the Energy Upgrade webinar presentation, and we are going to go through a series of slides tonight. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Sarah Kane, and I'm the Sustainability Program Supervisor here at IFAS Extension and Sustainability. We're a department of Sarasota County, and I've been with the county for about 5 years and have been in Florida for about 15 years. Working in the environmental field ever since I got here. And I welcome you all to the class. We also have Cassidy House in the house. We have Cassidy here. Cassidy just says hi. Cassidy, do you want to introduce yourself?
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Cassidy. I am the Natural Resources and Sustainability Communication and Outreach Intern here at IFAS Extension, and I am very excited for this class.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Cassidy is going to monitor the chat box for me because it's a little hard to see when I'm doing the presentation. So I'm going to ask you all to, if you have any questions, to go ahead and type them in the chat box. And we are going to be doing questions in the middle of the webinar and then again at the end. So she's going to monitor that for us. And so when we're in the middle, we can start answering some of those questions and then we'll answer them again at the end. We have energy upgrade kits, and actually, I can actually go get a kit if we can. I usually have a kit in front of me when we do this in person. But maybe I won't need it. The slides have pictures too. But anyway, so after you're done with this class today, you can actually come to our office to get a kit. So we are at 6700 Clark Road. We're at Twin Lakes Park. And Sophia is going to be sending you an email after this presentation. We're going to give her a list of everyone that's on the call. And you'll be getting an email from us with information of how to come pick up your kit. And you'll also get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, and you'll get an evaluation survey that we would love for you to fill out after the class is over. So normally, like I said, this is new for us. We normally do this class in person, but because of COVID, we are doing a webinar format. So bear with us for the first time that we do this. Again, if you have any questions at all throughout the presentation, go ahead and put them in the chat box and we'll make sure to answer them. So just to start off, we like to talk about what is extension. Maybe some of you have been to some of our classes and you might not have, but we are Sarasota County Extension, and there's an extension office in every single county in the state of Florida. So there's 67 extension offices. And we're a partnership in between Sarasota County, the University of Florida, and the USDA. And we have 6 different core areas that we focus on. We use local community needs through programming for outreach and volunteer opportunities and education and classes. So our 6 different core areas here, as you can see, are agriculture. We have a sustainable agriculture agent. We have 2 people in sustainability, including myself and Sophia, who you'll get an email from later, and Cassidy is our summer intern. And then we have a gardens, a community and school gardens coordinator, commercial horticulture agent, a residential horticulture agent. We have a lot of new positions in natural resources, marine and coastal resources, natural resources, waste reduction and water resources. We have the family nutrition program that works with low-income community members for food education and nutrition education. And then all of you have probably heard of 4-H. You've probably seen that little clover symbol before. Most people have. That's our youth program. You might have seen some of these other symbols or logos as well. We have the Master Gardener program here, the Florida Master Naturalist program, and many, many more. So if you ever have any questions about that, you can contact me or anybody else in the office, and we'd be happy to talk more about that. So what is sustainability? You might have heard the term sustainability, but I always like to start off these classes with the definition of sustainability. So when we're talking about sustainability, we like to look at 3 different pillars: the economic of saving money, the social, so that could be social equity, health, and the people that live in our community, and the environment. If you look at all 3 of those things, where they connect and all add together, that is being truly sustainable. So when we're looking at projects, we like to look at things that, and this class is actually a really good example of a sustainability project, because we're talking about energy and water savings, which is good for the environment. It helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions for energy savings and reduce our water impact. So that's good for the environment. And then economics, we're actually going to be saving money by implementing all of these different things. And it's also good for our health to have healthy indoor air quality and make a sustainable community. So today's workshop, you are going to see a picture of this kit that you can come pick up at our office afterwards. We're going to be talking about low and no cost energy savings and no and low cost water savings. And we're going to be talking about everything that's in our kit. We're also going to talk about other incentives. And then we have a lot more information on our energyupgradetoday.com website. So like I mentioned in the beginning, you will be getting a copy of this presentation after the class. The webinar is over tomorrow, a PDF version that has all the links in it, so you don't have to worry about jotting anything down. The kit is worth about $30. And we're going to talk about what's in it and how you can save even more money if you install all of these items and if you do some behavior changes. So if you adopt all the no-cost energy and water saving strategies, you can save approximately $430 a year. And if you install all the items that you're going to pick up in your kit, you can save around $160 a year for a total of almost $600 a year. So you can answer this in the chat box, excuse me. Where do you think energy is being used most here in Florida? And we have, Cassidy, do you have any answers?
Not yet. People are still typing. Oh, there we go. Someone said Broward.
What was that?
Broward. Like the county?
Oh, no, sorry, I should have clarified. Where is energy being used in your home? Inside your home?
Okay. We have a lot of people agreeing on air conditioning.
Yes, that's it. We live here in Florida and it's very hot. So air conditioning is the right answer. And you get a free kit. Just come to our office and come pick it up. So yes, 36% of our electricity and energy being consumed in the home is coming from our air conditioning system. Now this is going to look a lot different if you are living up north, right? Because your heating would actually be a lot bigger if you were up north. And then we have the hot water heater is actually 16% of electricity being used, and then heating at 13%. And then we have refrigerator as a single appliance at 8%. And before that, so excuse me, lighting at 9%. So a lot of things that we're going to be talking about today are ways that you can reduce this. But since we use our AC so much, especially right now in the summertime when it's hot, it does make a huge difference if you have an efficient air conditioning system, and that if you have your house properly insulated and don't have leaks. So we're going to be talking about all of these things. You probably have seen this bill, or all of you from the Sarasota Manatee area? Anybody from anywhere outside of the area?
I'm seeing a few nods for within the Sarasota area, and someone is from the Daytona area here.
Oh, okay, great. Well, if you're from Daytona, then you have not seen this bill, but this is a FPL bill for anybody that lives in this area. This is something that you would get in the mail, or you might get it electronically, and I'm sure you've seen it before. It's really good to monitor your electricity consumption inside your home. So this is a really good way to do that. You can check out your bill, and you can look at your energy usage, your kilowatt hours for the current month and for the previous month, and then for the previous year at the same time. So if you do make some of these upgrades, you can really track your usage on your bill to see if you're making a difference. You can also have, a contest with yourself or family or neighbors, and just try to reduce that. So it can be really fun. You can also check this out on their website, on the energy dashboard. So you can do it electronically as well. And they also have an app. So sometimes that can be fun to track that. So there's two ways that you can think about saving in your home. There's the efficiency side, and that's going to be the products or technology that you're using. So when we give you LED light bulbs, those are the products that you're using to save. But you can also think of it as conservation or behavior change or lifestyle change. That is shutting off the lights when you leave the room, or turning off the water when you brush your teeth, different things like that you can do that might already be a habit that you already do, and then you can do some additional things to conserve throughout your home. So there are some things that don't cost any money at all, that behavior changes that you can do. So those no-cost energy savings include turning off your lights when you leave the room. I know it sounds really simple and easy, but we don't always think about doing it. Also, turning off your electronics when you leave the room, unplugging them, turning off your fans when you're not in the room, all of those things can help. And for the thermostat, I always say when we're doing this class in person, it can be really fun and interactive, because I can ask you all a lot of questions, but we'll try to do that as much as we can in the chat. But I always like to say that this one totally depends on your household. And my husband and I always go back and forth. I always want it warmer in the house, and he always wants it cooler in the house. So you just kind of have to do what's right for you and your family. But this is what we recommend to save money. So if you're home in the winter time, 68 degrees, set your thermostat at. If you're away, 55. If you're at home in the summertime, 78. And you're away, 82 in the summertime. So this can vary depending on your preference, but this is what we would recommend if you really want to save some money. I know that if some people are snowbirds, if they live up north and just come down here in the wintertime, then I've known people that just leave their thermostat at 82 in the summertime, and that will at least take out the humidity outside of your house, so you won't have mold issues, but it'll still keep it at a cool enough temperature where you won't have those humidity issues, and it'll still be a little warm in there, but it'll be okay. And then you want to make sure your hot water heater thermostat is set to 120. If you have it really high, it is going to cost a lot of money. I did have an example of one of my classes that I did, that I had somebody that came in, and she had an apartment. She just moved into an apartment, and I believe it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. And her electric bill was very high. It was almost $300. And for that size of an apartment, that's very, very high. And so she was trying to figure out what was going on. And eventually she figured out that her hot water heater was turned up very, very high. So she turned it down to 120, and her bill went down almost 50%, which seems like a lot, but it just shows that your hot water heater can make a big difference. Also, if you're away for a long extended period of time, you might want to consider just shutting off the hot water heater if it's electric. That way it's not taking up any energy at all when you're not using it. Also, don't waste hot water. Don't leave the water running when you're trying to wash dishes, or taking taking shorter showers can also help. Some other things you can do for your refrigerator, you can actually do the dollar bill check, where you can check the gasket of your refrigerator. If you have an older refrigerator, you might want to check that seal on it. And you can just slide a dollar bill through the seal to see if it's very loose. If it's very loose, then you might want to consider replacing that gasket. You can also use your energy saving settings on your appliances. You might not even know that you have them. If you do have them, make sure you use them. Some of them are already automatic. If you have an Energy Star appliance, I'm going to mention that a lot. That is a really great third-party certification to look for when you're looking at appliances. For the laundry, you can wash your clothes in cold water. That's going to create less heat and less electricity usage. So I always wash all my clothes in cold water to save that money. And also, if you're doing colors and whites, you know, you can have a better chance of your clothes not getting uncolored if you use cold water. Full loads are great. Now I know they have washers and dryers that will put the water for the amount of clothes that you actually have in the washer and dryer. But if you do full loads and less frequent loads, that can help. Anybody air dry their clothes out there? I like to, as much as I can. I do partial, but they have the drying racks that are really nice, and then you don't have to iron your clothes either, which is something that I don't like to do. And then make sure you're cleaning your lint trap after each use in your dryer. Also run your dishwashers on full loads and try to use the air dry option. That's not the heat option. And whenever you're using more heat for things, that's going to cause more electricity usage. Also, you want to stop the sun from getting inside your home. So you want to close your drapes and windows during those sunny summer days, especially right now when it's really hot outside. You also want to install a programmable thermostat and use it if you can. So that's really helpful, especially if you work during the day and you're not in your home. And more people are probably working from home right now. But if you do leave the house during the day, you can set your thermostat to be higher right now in the summertime. So it'll make it warmer in your house. Your AC doesn't run as much. And then right before you come home, you can set it to go down to the temperature that you like, so that when you get back home, you can be in a comfortable house and you won't be running your AC all day, and that will help save you some money. They also have the blackout drapes or insulating drapes now that are very inexpensive, and you can buy those to try to keep some of that sun out. The whole idea again is keeping that sun from outside of your house. And because when it's sunnier, it's going to be hotter in your house, and your AC is going to have to run a lot more to try to keep it cool in there. Energy Star fans. Again, here's the Energy Star symbol. You'll see that multiple times throughout the presentation, and you can get Energy Star certified fans. Whenever you see that logo, you know that it's going to be an energy efficient appliance or fan or whatever it is. You can heat your, or you can put a water heater wrap around your hot water heater. You can also insulate your pipes if you have an electric hot water heater. Make sure you're cleaning or changing your air filter often, at least, every few months, depending on how much you use it, how dirty they get. But you should be changing that out at least twice a year, but probably more often than that. And you can get a couple different types of air filters. So you can get the reusable ones that you hose off and clean off with water, and you can reuse, or you can get the ones like the one in the picture here that you can replace. And they're fairly inexpensive, and it will make your AC run a lot better if you can make sure that those are clean and keep up on changing those out. And then changing out your lighting to LED, which we're going to talk more about. So when you get your kit, you're going to get one of these Energy Savers booklets. This goes into a lot more deep detail about how to save energy at home. and it has all sorts of different categories that you can look through for air conditioning systems, insulation, windows, basically all the topics we're talking about today, but in greater detail, and more investment options for you. So quick tips for cooling. Fans use less energy than the air conditioning system. So if you can have ceiling fans or regular fans, we would definitely encourage you to use those. Just remember that fans cool people, not the room. So when you're not in the room, you don't need to have your fan on and running because that's just going to waste electricity. So you want to just have it on when you're in the room because it'll cool you off. You can get the Energy Star fans that save about 50%, which are great. And also you can remember to adjust your thermostat for the energy savings. Lighting. So you have all probably seen the incandescent lighting, which is the less efficient, the least efficient lighting. Those are the bulbs that get really, really hot. If you've ever gone into a bathroom that has the incandescent lights on the vanity, you can feel the heat radiating off of those lights. So actually, if you use a more efficient light bulb, you're not only going to save money because they're more efficient, but you're also going to save a little bit on the heating costs as well. For every $1 of energy you save an extra 30 cents in AC costs. So we like to encourage either CFLs or LEDs, and actually just straight out LEDs now. We do mention it here because they are more efficient and better than the incandescents, but they're almost becoming obsolete as well because the LEDs are so cheap now that they're create even less heat. They last longer than the CFLs. They last about 25 times longer than the incandescents. And they are just so much more efficient and inexpensive that we should be replacing all of our light bulbs for LEDs, and it's something really easy to do that you can save money. And one thing that no one really likes to do ever, I don't think, is changing a light bulb, especially if it's up in the ceiling really high and it's hard to get to. So you put in LEDs and you probably will never have to change it out depending on how much you use it. So in your kit, when you come pick it up from our office, you're actually going to get 2 LED light bulbs, and you can use those for your lamps or anything else in your home. And if you use both of them, you can save about $326 for the life of the bulb. And that's over many, many years that you can save money. Has anyone ever heard of vampire energy before? Seeing some no's. It's basically, you know, we have a lot of electronics now. We have our cell phones, and we have our computers, and we have our iPads, and we have our TVs. We have all of these things plugged in, and they're all creating energy. And even if you're not using them, like a coffee pot, for instance, if you see a little light on it, it's still sucking energy. And that's why we call it a vampire energy, because it's sucking energy from the wall if it's plugged in. Even if you're not using it at the time, if it's plugged in, it has a little light on it or a clock on it, or even just a regular charger, it's using energy and sucking energy and creating energy. So according to the Department of Energy, 75% of the electricity we use in our homes to power electronics and appliances is consumed while the products are off. So that's a lot. You can see in this slide that everything from our TVs to our computers, our game consoles, our media players, all of these are using energy. And so if you want to save some here, you can get a smart power strip, which you're going to talk about in a minute, and that's going to be in your kit. You can also just unplug things. So in your kit, the most expensive item is this smart power strip. And it has instructions on it of how to use it, but I'm gonna just go over it real quickly. So you see the black plug that says master on it. This is meant for a group of electronics. So it's meant for your TV or your computer systems. So if you have a TV and then you also have a DVD player and you have some speakers, you would plug the main cord of your TV into the black master. And then you would plug your speakers into the green secondary slot and your DVD player or whatever else is connected to your TV. And when you turn off your TV, then it's going to turn off everything altogether. So that'll save you some energy and electricity. And same with your computer. So if you have your computer and then you have your monitor and you have your speakers and your printer, you would plug in the main power line of your computer into the black, and then you would plug in all the secondary equipment into the green. And whenever you shut off your computer, it's going to shut everything off. This also has a surge protector and it has an on and off button. And you'll see the threes that don't, outlets that don't have colors on them, those are going to be always on. The one thing I'll mention, just don't ever just plug a single appliance, let's say your cell phone phone charger, into one of the greens, because it won't work. You would plug that into one of the white ones that are always on. Also, plugging leaks is a huge thing. So if you have any leaks in your home around your windows or doors, you can plug those up, and we have some insulation materials for you. So you can caulk and weatherize all the leaks. You can start with your attic or crawl space first. You can look around your plumbing, electrical outlets, your windows and doors, and you can seal them. One thing that you can do to check is you can get like a candle or incense, and on a windy day, you can light it and go around the door or the window and see if you can see smoke coming in or out. And that you can see if you have a leak. One thing that you can do to insulate that's in your kit is a wall gasket. And this is something really simple. It's the cheapest thing in your kit, but it's really simple to do. So if you have an outside wall that has a plug-in, most of you will, you just unscrew the little top cover piece and you put this insulating foam gasket underneath, and that will seal it up. And it's just a little thing, not huge savings there, but something small that you can do. We're also going to have an air sealing option in your kit. So you're either going to be getting foam tape or rope caulk. Normally when we do this class in person, we let you choose. But because we're having you pick these kits up in the office, we put mostly the foam tape in them. Since this is a lot smaller class than we thought, you will all get foam tape. And that's a really good one, and one that's easy to use, and you can use it around your windows and doors to seal any leaks. If you ever have questions at any time, you're going to get our contact information after this class with Sophia's email, so you can always email us and ask us any questions that you have. So appliances, most appliances now also are ENERGY STAR certified. So whenever you see that little blue logo that says ENERGY STAR, you know that it's going to be more efficient and you're going to be saving some money in the long run, which is great. So you can get that for your washer and dryer, your refrigerator, freezers, TVs, and your air conditioning system. So always look for that little logo. You're also going to see on that, when you look at that logo, you've probably seen this in the store before. This is your energy guide, excuse me, for ENERGY STAR, and it's going to tell you how much you're going to save in kilowatts and operating costs. So you can, when you're trying to figure out you're in the market for buying a new appliance, you can look at this label and compare different models, which is great. You also want to make sure that your house is insulated. That's going to be a huge thing. So the R value is resistance value, and the higher the value, and the more resistance it's going to have to heat flow. So you might want to look into that as something that goes into more detail in the energy booklet that you're going to get. And we can always answer more questions for you, but it's important that your house is properly insulated. It will definitely save you some money on your electricity usage. Also, passive cooling. So wide overhangs on your house, covered porches, plantings that provide shade, awnings. Those are all good things that will help keep that sun out of your house. Again, helping keep the heat out of your house. And the more heat that you have in your house, the more your AC is going to run. There's also window films that you can get, that you can put on your windows. And if you're thinking about getting new windows, they are expensive, but Energy Star is definitely worth it because you're going to save a lot of money there. Also look for the Southern Low E impact class that is meant to be here in our state of Florida. Your HVAC system. If you're looking to get a new HVAC, a heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, definitely look for that Energy Star label. You're going to save, it's going to be 25% more efficient. The higher the SEER value, which is the seasonal energy efficiency rating, the more efficient it's going to be, and you're going to end up saving a lot of money on your electric bill if you have a higher SEER rated HVAC system. So the code minimum is 14, but you can go up from there to be more efficient. And if you're considering getting a new air conditioning system, we recommend that you get 3 quotes from 3 different companies. And bigger does not necessarily equal better. They should all do this, but make sure you get a manual J load calculation for your air conditioning system that is going to size the unit correctly for your home. Because if it's oversized, then you could have humidity problems. Water heaters. So there are different types of water heaters that you can get. Some are more efficient. There's solar, gas tankless, and heat pumps. Again, always look for that Energy Star, and this is totally going to depend on your budget, how much you have to spend. But those heat pump water heaters are very efficient. Okay, so now we're kind of at our halfway point now. We just talked about energy, and we're going to be talking about water next. So I'll take a minute. Please, if you haven't already, enter questions in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Cassidy, how are we looking?
All right, so we already have a few questions in the chat. The first one is from Barbara, and she asked, does Florida Power and Light still do energy audits?
Yes, they do. And I do have some links for that at the end of the presentation, but you can definitely contact them, and they will do a mini evaluation, but they will come to your home for free. And if you have a business or a nonprofit, they also do a business energy evaluation, which is also free for businesses or nonprofits. Good question.
All right, and next is, what are your hours for picking up our kits?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We are at Twin Lakes Park on Clark Road. We're just east of 75 on Clark and 6700 Clark Road. And we're at the extension office. So when you enter Twin Lakes Park, we're going to be the first building on the right. We have big solar panels and a lot of pretty plants out here. So while you're here, come check out our office and then some of our classes. We have brochures and other things that you can take. And you'll get that information, those details, in an email tomorrow from Sophia. And you can come pick them up at any time between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday.
All right, thank you. So the next question is, somebody asked if their router would go into the white plug of the power strip that you were showing earlier.
Yeah, I would do that on the always on, because you don't want your router to shut off. So I would make sure that that one's plugged into your always on because otherwise when you shut off the router, then you'll be shutting off your Wi-Fi. So you don't want to do that because you always want your Wi-Fi, especially nowadays, right? I would also recommend not plugging in your cable box necessarily into the green secondary outlets either, because sometimes the cable box takes a really long time to come back on after you shut it off. So sometimes we say just put that in the always on, one of the 3 always on outlets as well.
Great, that's good to know. Okay, next question. I waste 5 to 10 gallons of water just to get hot water to the shower. Are the instant water heaters worth the savings?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, definitely if you get a more efficient water heater, you might not have that problem as much. And so you'll be saving a lot of water, and you'll be saving in your electric bill as well, because it won't take as long to heat up. So yeah, that's a great question. It just depends on what kind of hot water heater you have. That's why a lot of people do turn up their hot water heater higher so that it gets hotter faster and you're not wasting as much water. But then that can also be a big electricity consumption as well. Looks like we had another hand raised for that one. Was that?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's just Karen looks like she raised her
I had
hand.
my hand raised. I wanted to say that in the US, that's relatively new technology. In the rest of the world, the Instant Hot is really old technology. In fact, the rest of the world doesn't understand why we still have the old-fashioned water heaters we have. So they're quite efficient. The other big advantage of them is you don't have to worry about leaking. You don't have to worry about being away and having it rust out, for example, and having damage done to your home. So we have a 4-bedroom home, and we have a separate small one for upstairs where there are 2 bedrooms. Sometimes larger homes will have more than one, but they are inexpensive. They're great, and they are highly efficient and inexpensive to run. And then you also don't have a problem with leaking. And very often your insurance company, if they know you have one, will give you a discount.
Thank you so much, Karen. I'm really glad that you spoke up and said that. What kind did you say you had again?
I don't even remember the brand that we have, but there are a number of them out there. If you talk to a reasonably good contractor or plumber, you can get some good advice. They've become very common in Florida and other places where people, are not there full time.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Really good point.
All right, next question from Karen, actually. Can you provide any information on adding solar to a home? I understand there may be some state incentives, but there are also lots of scams out there. Where can I get some trustworthy info?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, Karen. I have a slide on that coming up towards the end. So I will share all those resources for you. And please, if I didn't answer your question fully, let me know and I'll answer it at the end of the presentation. But yes, we do have some resources out there, and you do have to be careful to make sure that you get a reputable organization or business to install your solar for you. So great question. I'll try to answer that and expand on it even more when I get to that slide.
All right, next question. Florida Power and Light is recommending installing small boxes on certain appliances so that they can restrict usage when demand is highest. Do you recommend this?
Yeah, so that's a demand program that they have. And yes, I think it's fine. I have not heard anything negative from anyone that has had it. As teaching these classes, I do get to hear from people, and you can save some money on your electric bill. So yeah, I definitely think it's worth checking out and doing, and you can save a little bit of money there.
All right, I think that's it for questions. There's just a bit of a discussion about the instant water heaters. Let's see. I think Lori said at the end that they got theirs from Lowe's. I'm not sure if you're talking about the instant water heater.
Yeah, yeah, the instant hot, and the brand we have is Watts, and you can set it on a timer.
WATTS.
Yeah, it's good. It works.
Oh, great.
And I agree with Karen. We lived in Europe, and it's like easy.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lori, for sharing. Appreciate that.
All right. Are there any other questions before we move on to the rest of the presentation?
All right, and we still have more time at the end too to answer more questions. So if not, Cassidy, I think I'll keep on going. All right, thank you all. So now we're going to talk about water. And there's definitely a water energy connection because every time we turn on the lights, we're actually using water and energy because it takes water to cool down electric plants. So if you think about it that way, we need to conserve on energy and water because they're all connected. So, oh, sorry, I didn't have a chance to ask you this ahead of time. But if we're looking at water indoors and outdoors, if you do have a lawn, the majority of your water usage when we're looking at both inside and outside of the house is definitely going to be from outside, your irrigation outside. If you're using potable water to do that. When we're looking inside though, the toilet is the biggest user. And so we're going to talk a lot about that, about how we can make sure, we need to make sure that our toilet isn't leaking and we need to make sure that we have an efficient toilet. So after the toilet, we have our washer at 8.7%. And then can't see the other numbers because they're on the Zoom side, but the shower is right after that, and the faucet, and then leaks are a huge thing too at 5.5%. So you want to make sure that you're fixing any leaks, and the others are just a lot smaller. Oh, here's another good example. So if we're just looking at just indoor water use, toilet is 40%. So that's a lot, and a lot of things that I didn't even know before I started teaching this class that can make a huge difference if you just make sure your toilet's not leaking, change out the toilet flap in the back, and make sure you have an efficient toilet and you're good. Then your shower, 30%, laundry, 15%, kitchen isn't that much, 10%. So make sure you're stopping your leaks. So when you come get your kit, we have a toilet tab that you can put in the back of your toilet tank, and you can wait 30 minutes. And if you see the blue food coloring in the bowl of the toilet, then that you know that you have a leak. You can do the same thing with food coloring and just put a couple drops in there. But we have some toilet tabs for you in the kit. We have two of those, or one of those. There's 2 tablets in each thing, and you can check to see if your toilet's leaking. If it is leaking, it can waste up to 200 gallons per day. And a faucet that leaks 1 drop per second can waste nearly 2,700 gallons per year. So just fixing those leaks really does make a huge difference. If your toilet is leaking, more than likely it's going to be that toilet flapper valve that you want to change out. And we recommend doing that twice a year. So about every 6 months, you can change out that toilet. But if you notice it leaking, just change it out right away. You want to replace your old toilets for more efficient ones. Have you seen the dual flush toilet? When I went to Australia, for my grad school research, and every single toilet in that entire country had dual flush. They don't even have regular toilets. So, and Australia is a little bit ahead, I think, sometimes, not only for some of the technology and things that I saw there that we don't have, but also the time zone. They're in the future, so. But yes, those are good because basically it's just 2 valves on the top One is for a little bit of water if you don't need much, and then one is for a little bit more water. So you can save some water there depending on your flush. Retrofits for water. So just like there's the Energy Star label certification that we mentioned a bunch of times before, there's the equivalent water certification, which is an EPA certification, third party. Look for that WaterSense label for any toilets, faucets, or shower heads that you might want to replace. And they're going to be about 20% more efficient. So that's another good kind of third-party certification that you can look at for water. A dishwasher typically uses less water and electricity than hand washing. So whenever we hand wash our dishes, we have to wait for the hot water to come on, right? And we're going to be wasting water. But the dishwasher is actually a lot more efficient. You can look again for the Energy Star certified ones. And running a garbage disposal does use quite a lot of water. We also try not to encourage too much use of your garbage disposal, especially for big items, because they won't necessarily get filtered through the wastewater system. So it's almost better to put it in the trash, or even better, a compost pile. And most of the washers and dryers now are pretty efficient if you're going to be getting them new. Again, look for the Energy Star, but as a standard, the washing machine uses a little bit less if it's a front loader versus a top loader. And if you do have a yard, definitely consider Florida-friendly landscaping. We have a lot of classes here in our office that are also now webinars where you can learn about Florida-friendly landscaping, and that's putting the right plant in the right place and using plants that are meant to be here in Florida that don't need as much water or fertilizers or pesticides. And that's great for the environment, but also great to save water if you can get some drought tolerant plants. We also have rain barrel workshops that we're also now offering online, and you can take the webinar and you can purchase rain barrel and take that home and save some water. And there's all this free stuff that comes from the sky in the summertime. So now's like a perfect time to get that rain barrel, collect the free stuff that's falling out of the sky, and use it to water your plants. We also have free irrigation audits that we do. If you do have irrigation, we can come out to you, not myself, but Wilma Hawley and some Master Gardener volunteers can come out and do a free irrigation audit to look at your system to see if it's working properly. And also you can use a hose nozzle where you can turn that on and off to water your plants so that you're not watering constantly if you're just using a regular hose. And that'll save you some water. So in your kit, you're going to have a faucet aerator, a low flow shower head, and a garden nozzle. And those will all help you save water. So the faucet aerators, you just take off the whatever is on there now and you twist on the new aerator, and that's going to save you water. Same with the shower head. If you already have one and you don't have any use for it, then you can just give it to a friend or a neighbor. Like I said before, normally we would let you choose these, but we're just giving all three of them to you in your kit. If you don't have them for some reason when you come pick them up, just let us know and we'll make sure that you get them. Does anyone in this group rent? You can either click unmute or click in the chat box and let me know. Do we have any renters in the group today?
We have one no, but I'm a renter.
Okay, Cassidy. So there are things that you can do as renters. So everything that we talked about minus the big investment items of buying a new air conditioning system or new appliance, All of the conservation items that we talked about, you can do as a renter. But one important thing to look at is when you're looking for an apartment or a new place to rent, ask about the monthly costs. So if you have to pay for those out of your pocket, it's always good to know what your electricity bill is going to be and what your water bill is going to be. Because if it's super high, that might be a red flag that there might be some inefficient appliances or some leaks or some bad insulation. And then you can talk to your landlord about that before you decide that you want to rent that location. Also, without permission, you can change out your lighting for your lamps. So you can use LED lighting in your own personal lamps. You can ask about changing LED lighting in the other light fixtures. You can always unplug your electronics, use the temperature settings, use the insulating gaskets, and you can take those with you. So if you have an LED light bulb and you just want to replace it in one of the fixtures, you can always take that with you. You can make small improvements yourself with permission from your landlord. So you could ask them if they could do some caulking, some leak fixes, some programmable thermostats. You could ask them about that. Maintenance responsibilities, make sure that they're cleaning those AC filters and doing their annual maintenance and checking for leaks and all those things. You can ask to make sure that they're doing those things. And if they're not, then you should ask them to do that more often, or you might even be able to change out your AC filter yourself. And you can advocate for energy upgrades. So insulation, appliances, and window ACs, you can always ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? You never know. They could say no, but at least you tried. Here's solar. So we do have a solar class that you can take. You can register on Eventbrite through our extension office, and there's a lot more information about solar. We also have Property Assessed Clean Energy, PACE, which is a financing program. The link is in here, so you're going to get this slide and you'll get more information about it. But basically, it is a financing program that you can use for solar or energy efficiency projects or hurricane improvement projects, which could include windows and roofs. And it is assessed through your property taxes if you own your house. So the bill comes through the property taxes. And there is a tax credit of 26%, and it will maybe reduce again in 2021. So if you are considering getting solar, you might want to consider that because you will get that tax credit as of right now. There's also some resources down here and a lot of good information out there. The Solar United Neighbors of Florida, that's actually a solar co-op. And they're going to be having one in Sarasota County, if you live in Sarasota County, coming up soon in October, I believe it starts. So you can check out their website. And if you participate in that, it's like a group solar, community solar buy. So basically anybody that signs up for the program in Sarasota County gets a discount on their solar system. So you might want to consider that. They're going to have some informational sessions about that coming up in the next couple months. And then just real quickly, as we are running close on the end of time, is financial assistance and incentives. So part of the funding for this program is coming from a grant from the Department of Energy. And we try to work with low-income community members to give them information about all of this that we're talking about today and how they can get assistance to pay their electricity bill if you can't afford to pay it. So you can always call 211 that has a lot of good resources about all of these things and more. But if you know of somebody that can't afford to pay their electric bill, you can contact the Salvation Army. They can make payments directly to FPL. through the LIHEAP program, which is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. It's a federal program, and they can pay your electric bill one time per year. There's also the FPL Assist, the FPL Care to Share, and there is also a program, I don't know if I have it on the next slide, but there's also a program through St. Martha's Church in Sarasota that they will also help with electric bill payments. And there's the FPL budget billing, which anyone can do. So if you, right now in the summertime, because we're using our electricity so much, our air conditioning system, our bills are probably a lot higher right now than they are in the winter months. So you can sign up for budget billing online, and anyone can do this. And they will look at your bills and they will give you a set amount each month for your electricity bills so that you can actually budget, so that you're not having a $300 bill in the summertime and then a $100 bill in the wintertime. They'll just spread out your payments so that it's the same payment every single month, which is nice. Here's more information about the LIHEAP program and the qualifications of your low income household levels. So check that out when you get the PowerPoint slides, and please send it to anyone who might be interested or need the assistance. There's also the Weatherization Assistance Program, which is also a low income program, and they will do improvements up to $5,000 for fixing leaks, for AC systems, window replacements, duct systems, hot water heaters, and even refrigerators. There are, of course, the income requirements there, and they do have a waiting list. It is fairly large waiting list. So I would recommend calling them for more information or to get on a waiting list. And here's the eligibility requirements there. And then there's also a loan program. It is a 0% interest loan, and payments are deferred as long as the home is owner occupied, and you can get up to $60,000. And that's good for like even a new roof. There's a hole in a roof for any of those big projects. And that's through HUD and available to anybody in the county, the city, or the city of Northport. And there's the contact information. And the requirements for income there. Some of the repairs can include electrical, plumbing, roof, air conditioning systems, and window doors, cabinets, countertops, and flooring. Here is the online home energy survey that you can look at your energy usage. Oh, excuse me, the energy dashboard is where you can look at your energy usage. You can do an online home energy survey, and then the in-home energy survey that I mentioned before, that is your duct testing and insulation measurement. That is something that FPL will come out to your home and do for free. And there is the contact number there. And we talked about the solar tax credit that you can get for renewable energy. And lastly, we do have an energy upgrade program where we are working with low-income community members to do energy upgrades. And we actually have a volunteer training coming up starting in September. So check out our Eventbrite page or email us if you want any more information about that. We would love to have you take that course and volunteer for us. Right now, we're just trying to figure out new procedures for COVID because we're not currently going into homes, but we're still teaching classes and trying to do consultations and looking at ways that we can eventually go back into homes. You can find out more information on our website. This is a screenshot of our website, and you can go to energyupgradetoday.com to get there. Also, state and local rebates. So you can go to this website, and again, we'll be distributing this PowerPoint presentation with all of these great resources. So I'm sorry I'm out of time, but I can definitely answer some more questions if anybody has, and if you have to run, just feel free to log out. We thank you so much for participating today. I hope you learned some things, and I hope you can come pick up your kit, because I have a lot of them here. We were supposed to have 25 people today. So there's going to be plenty of kits to go around. So make sure you come pick up yours. And now I'll answer any questions that we have.
All right, so we do have a few questions in the chat. Somebody asked, does anybody enforce the water sprinkler rules? I see a lot of people watering on the wrong day and even when it is raining. Me too. I see that too.
Yes, that's an issue, especially because they're supposed to have a rain sensor on them. So when it's raining, they should not be using it. Should not be getting them. I would just try to educate people about that. And then if you have any other questions about enforcement, you can always call 861-5000. That's the main county number. And they'll put you in touch with the water utilities folks that can help you. And I think you can file a complaint.
I think that is it for questions in the chat, but there was a very good comment. Let me scroll back down from Marilyn. When you were talking about the LIHEAP funds, LIHEAP, Marilyn stated this is why being counted in the census is so important because it helps determine how much of those funds are awarded to states, counties, cities, and towns.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. If you haven't filled out your census yet, please do so. It does make a huge difference. We need those numbers for our funding and for other funding for low-income community members. It's very important. So please fill it out and encourage others to fill it out too. Thank you for bringing that up. Good point. Any more questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I need to get a new air conditioner, and you were talking about the hot water heater. You know, it's right behind it, but does it have to be a special hot water heater to, because I think the one you were talking about runs off of when your air conditioner is running?
No, there's different types of hot water heaters that you can get. We talked about 3 or 4 different kinds. Your standard is just your regular electric hot water heater that you'll see, the big tall ones. Those are probably going to be your cheapest, but you can get them Energy Star, so they'll be a little bit more efficient. And then there's the heat pump water heaters that are going to be more expensive, but way more efficient. There's solar hot water heaters that you can get, and then there's the gas tankless. And in the little booklet that you're going to get in your kit, it goes into more details about those, and you can find some more information on the Energy Star website or the EPA website. If you just Google hot water heaters, you can find out some more prices and differences between them. But it's just going to depend on what you want as far as your price range.
We do have another question in the chat on that subject. Somebody asked, are the instant on water heaters gas powered?
Karen, if you're the one who mentioned that, I believe they are.
Oops, I'm unmuted, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
No, they are not necessarily gas. So for example, I live on an island where we don't have gas. We have electric.
Okay.
We also use propane. And I think that you can use either. Very often you'll find them in old apartments, for example, in France, where there's no gas. It's all electric. So I know that you can get them both ways. And I think the one that we have is electric, although I know they are also gas.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, so just look up tankless water heaters. Talk to a contractor about them. But they are used all over the world. We are one of the few developed countries that actually do not have them as the norm. It's kind of one of those weird things. We've just never graduated.
Yeah. It's kind of like the dual flush toilets in Australia. It was like, yeah, they all have them, but we just don't have them here.
Well, and not just in Australia, but yeah. Yes, exactly.
Great point, Karen. Thank you for chiming in and educating me on that. Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions, Cassidy.
Sorry, I was saying there are no more questions in the chat box.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. You're going to get our contact information. So if you have any questions after this, feel free to reach out. So thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.